it's Dawn. I am working on, I was setting up a new page that I'm working on, and I thought maybe I'd just turn the camera on. I've with just a simple ruler, I've taken this 9x12 page and segmented it, made it into 4 equal sections of like I think they're 5.5 by 4 and not quite 4. And then what I'm doing now is I'm just taking this protractor compass. What is, I always get that wrong. Whatever this is. I'm having a moment. It's late. And I'm just drawing some little circles within the squares. Or, well, I should say circles. I'm drawing some arches. And I thought I would just turn on the camera for a moment. And then I'll finish it. But I just thought I would show you how I'm putting the point in the corner here. Yeah, I thought I got that screwy. That's okay, I'll go back and fix it. And then I'm just babbling mostly. No, but what I'm doing is I'm separating, and I'm just going to do some colors. I'm going to take this watercolor palette over here and pick a color scheme I want to use, 4 or 5 colors, and fill it in. Sorry, I'm trying to focus at the same time as I'm trying to talk. It's not always my strong suit, apparently. So I'm not really taking any measurements. I'm just starting in this corner, and I'm making it different from this one that I just finished. And that way each one will kind of be its own standalone piece in a way. And I don't want to make them, I've made these kind of equidistant here, so I'm going to make the next one kind of a big one, because I don't want them all to be the same, and then I want them to be different from its neighbor. It doesn't have to be, but that's just kind of the vibe I was going for. This is just for fun. It's just a pattern. It's just for funsies. And I'll move down to this one, and instead of, and I'll just close it a little bit more, and you don't have to draw the whole circle, because like right there I skipped a little, or the pencil skipped a little. That's okay. You just want to have a good idea of where it's going to go. And then I'll go back and clean these lines up, and anytime I went outside the line or any place where I want to dull it down a little bit so it's not so bright, not so dark. Now, one of the things you could do is take a black fine liner, something waterproof, and really make these lines stand out. And I may do that with the end. Some people do line then the color, and some people do the color then line work. And I don't think there's a wrong way or a right way. It's just however you feel like, I suppose. And like if this one's too thick, this line he did right there is too thick, that one's a little too fat, I can always come back and I'm gonna make it a bigger section here. I can always come back and thin it before I put the paint down. Ooh, that's a big boy. I prefer the thinner line separating. That feels a little thick, but I may leave it for now. All right. Nope, too fat. Skinny that guy up. Nope, still too fat. There we go. Then we'll do the last one here. And again, I just leave it to the widest point. Now I'm going to change it because I don't want it to be identical to this one. So let's see, yeah, I'll just go a tad wider, I think. Oh, that's as wide as it goes. Well, all right, now we know. And there's some plastic ones out there that you just kind of squeeze. You just may have to be a little more forgiving and go more gently with yourself on those, because those sometimes are a little harder to control. This twist type is great, but I'm not trying to tell you to go out and buy anything. It's the last thing I want to try to do. Just get out what you got and start using it. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. And that's more for me than you. Yeah, I got screwed that up, didn't I? Sure did. That's why pencils are, erasers are invented, right? And you can see I'm not being terribly precise. It looks precise, but it's not. At all. Go way down and make that section kind of big. That was not good. Let me fix it. And yes, this is a pointy piece and is poking a hole in your paper. So if you sit there and you gouge it out, okay. Oh, that's not good. I'm gonna get my lines the same, so I'm gonna erase that and start over. Do over. Try again. Oh, that's better. So I'll zoom out here just a little and you can see these are all pencil lines, and now I'll get my paints wet and we'll decide what colors go where. Does this ever happen to anybody else? I have my favorite brush, my Escoda 10, and then you think you go to do something else and you need another shape. So I went and bought, on sale of course, a couple more angled brushes, and I bought 2 3/8, one in squirrel, one in golden talcum, and then a half. And then I also bought a filbert. And I sit here this morning, you know, debating what colors I'm going to use on my piece, and then also what brush. And I've got these brand new brushes sitting here, ready to go, but I go back to my favorite. I pull this out. It's my clutch brush. So I was just wondering if I'm the only one that goes and buys brushes and then doesn't use them, or just goes back to your favorite every time. Is it just me? I don't think so. I think a lot of people probably do that. I did soften these lines a little bit with a polymer eraser. Just kind of half-heartedly, you know, and then I just kind of stab at it. I don't mind pencil lines showing because oftentimes I'm going to come back with a fine liner and go over the line anyway to finish it. And I may still, on this one here to the side, I may come back with a fine liner. I haven't decided. And then I'm using a Mother today, so I'm using this palette that I've had in my my pile of palettes, because I have off to the side a very large stash of palettes. In fact, I really need to figure out a better way of storing them to kind of sit on top of each other, quite literally. Most of them are ceramic. I've been on a quest to get rid of my plastic ones. use up the paints that are on them. And then I tend to donate those to places that might be able to use them. Art supplies in general, I mean. For a while, I was giving a lot of my art supplies to friends and family members, but their tastes and your taste aren't always the same, or their choice of materials. So I just wet my palette down with some water, and then I have this mother, which is a bunch of these colors all mixed up together. In fact, if you shake it, look at that. Look how the top kind of disappears, and anyway, you got to kind of remuddle it, but it's okay. I think this piece I'm going to do mostly greens and blues. I just returned from a vacation by the sea, of course, and not of course, but for me, of course. And I'm feeling very inspired by the ocean. So I think I'm just going to do a lot of greens and blues in this piece today. Man, if you can buy one brush, find the size you like and the shape you like, and then just buy it in a good quality brush like this one. This is an Escoda, and I am not paid to say this by anybody. But find the handle you like, and you may have to try a bunch of different brushes. But at the end, if you can find a brush, oh wow, hello. And this is not travel friendly, it's not a good travel size. But if you get to know this brush so well that you know if you can get into a spot or not get into a spot, or it just becomes like an extension of your own hand, I think. And the other thing I can suggest to anybody getting started is to just practice every day if you can, or as often as possible. It's like learning any skill, like how to dribble or shoot free throws. With continual and consistent practice, you'd be surprised how good you'll get at using this brush or getting to know your paints, how much water. All of those things become apparent when you practice on the regular. I'm just kind of going around. So these 4 pans here are a combination of blues and greens. Some of them have 2 colors. Can't tell you right now what these colors are. They're all Daniel Smith for the most part. I say they're all for the most part. That's contradictory, but I think in this case they're all Daniel Smith. And then I'll probably come back and do these separating lines once these have dried. Oh, you know what I should have done? Hindsight. Should have made the top 2 like oranges and reds and the bottom 2 blues and greens. Oh well. We'll do an upside down sunset. We'll do that. I like that idea. That sounds cute. Cool. I love Roy G. Biv. I love painting in Roy G. Biv, but I don't like it to be necessarily super in your face Roy G. Biv. I don't like it to always be, oh look, it's a rainbow. I like it to be subtle. I think this is cobalt turquoise, but don't quote me. Feels like cobalt turquoise, but I don't see. That's that whole getting to know your paints thing better. Like, I'll know Quin Gold always. I'll always know Quin Gold because I've used it so much. But other colors I don't know as well. I've been playing with Quin Rose lately. I love all the quinacridones. Just because I love their transparency and how they layer. I also like the granulating colors too. They're fun. And I love my coffee, most of all. I'm eager to try the new Cobalt Green by Daniel Smith. It looks really interesting. I'm a big fan of blues and greens in general. Alright, that's not different enough. So let's add a little blue to that and try to, okay, that didn't change up much either. Alright, let's try this. Alright, we're not finding much variance in color here by the time. Let's add some indigo. Here I'm pushing, which is not my strongest skill. Oh, and I went outside the lines. Oh well. I find that I do better pulling like that. And there's a piece of schmutz that shall be ejected. There's another piece of schmutz. Come back, you schmutzy hair. I keep a paper towel off to the side for just such emergencies. And you'll notice I'm not cleaning my brush in between either. It's because I'm using a mother. And the amount of mother that I use, and for those of you who are not familiar with mother is just where you add all of the colors from your palette. And you create a mud, you create a brown, but it has all of the colors that you're using. So then when you add it back to a blue or a green or whatever, it unifies all the colors because they all have this, it neutralizes it in a way, or it softens it. But then they all look like they're part of the same, like, curated set, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I need more coffee. But I'll grab like a really healthy dose of pigment here. I'm not sure if you can see the pigment on the brush. And then I'll grab the tiniest little bit of mother on the end. It's just barely on there. And then maybe I'll even come back over here and kind of muddle them together. Just dip your toes in the mother. And then come back over here, and it's taken this manganese blue, which I think is what that is, and given it some softer properties because of the mother. It's, in photography you would call that dodging it, dodging your colors. I'm sure there's a more proper term in watercolor world, but yeah. I overran We're not going to worry about it. We're not going to try to fix it. We're just going to have fun. The other thing about Roy G. Biv is you don't have to start with red. You can start halfway through and continue with your Roy G. Biv, which is kind of what I'm doing here. But I'm not going to do a whole, I'm not going to do violet, for instance. All right, let's get a green back in here. Oh, that's lovely. And then once this dries, I'll come back and do alternating colors in the blue and green family in the rings that are currently being left blank. One of the things I like to do sometimes is to, when I'm not working in a book, is when I'm just pull out some loose paper, especially like a 4x6 or 5x7. I use 5x7s a lot. In fact, I buy it sometimes on Amazon with just already pre-cut 5x7s. It's loose, it's not bound, and I'll just pull it out and those 5x7s and get my compass out and just draw up a bunch of stuff. I'm ready to go for the days when I'm not sure what I want to make. It's helpful for me. Alright, let's go a little dark green here, but we'll water it down with the mother. By water it down, I mean tone down the color. I like abstract, which this kind of makes me think of abstract, but controlled by having these. I do better with controlled lines in my abstract pieces. If that makes any sense at all. Abstract with control. What a concept, right? Alright, let's grab, I think this is Prussian, but I'm not sure. Because I added green to it and there's a little lavender in that same well. It's hard to say what color we're getting here. All I know is trying to get different colors than I've got over here. Is it this color? No, it's this color. I forgot what well I was working out of. And you'll see how this changes color as I went to pick up more pigment. The ratio of mother to pigment to whatever was in my brush before has changed it, but that's okay. The all cohesive. They're all talking to each other because they're all in the same family. Okay. Ooh. Wow. That is a statement right here. Nope, I want more of that blue statement. There we go. That says hello and pay attention to me, doesn't it? That is not going to be ignored. Not even on a Tuesday. I'm grabbing a healthy dose of mother here, and it's still going, pay attention to me. I love everything muted and old and rustic and vintage. And my daughter and my sister love everything shiny and blingy and bright and in your face. It's funny how people just like what they like, you know? So paint with what you like. Paint with the colors that make you happy. And if all the crayons in the box are overwhelming, pick out 5. Pick out 7. Pick out 3. Give yourself a limited palette. Try that and see if you like that better. I do better with a limited palette. I do better when I just give myself a small amount of colors to play with. Sometimes 3 or 5 are not enough, depending on the colors. Wow, that says hello. All right, so let's go back over here and pull this green again that we started with. That would be a good time to bring that color back in. Only I've still got blue in my brush, so it's going to be this color. This is a slightly odd angle for my wrist, so I'm going to turn it this way to see if I can get a little better comfort level on this. I may have to stand for this part because this is just awkward as heck. All right, coming around the curve. Like I said, I'm not worried if I get in there in the middle, in these lines. This is watercolor. It's not cabinetry. Watercolor, by definition, is a little unpredictable. And that makes it beautiful to me, is the lack of precision. And I'm an OCD girly, so precision really appeals to me. But just because it appeals to me doesn't mean it's easily achieved. Which is why I think I like watercolors, because it gives you the illusion of precision or the feeling of precision, or when you're done, you look back and you go, that looks good, even though it's not precise. Other mediums, if it's not precise, it's just glaringly obvious. Like that. My hand slipped. We will. Go to ballerina mode, up on his tippy toes, up on point. Yeah, I need to fix that. I heard you. There you go. This is the gum Arabic separated in this one. That's got to be cobalt teal, because that's the only one that does that I'm aware of. It is maddening, I'll tell you what. I don't like it. It's ooey and gooey. And it's not my cup of tea. But I went heavier on the mother on this, as you can see. And it changes it, because I think, I don't remember, one of those was this color. It might have been the third one. Also, your paper is gonna, if you don't know already, your paper, aside from your brush, your paper is your other, probably your first consideration, honestly. This is Strathmore 400 series, which is fine. It's good. It's not great. It's not 100% cotton, but it's not bad. I like a semi-textured surface, personally. I don't like it when it's too rough, and I don't like it when it's too smooth. But it's taken a long time to figure that part out about myself. Kind of like, oh, I'm just smudged. Kind of like how you like your eggs, you know? You eat them one way your whole life because that's how your mom made them for you. And then you go, well, do I like them that way? And then you got to go test them all and decide, yeah, I do like them that way. That is my favorite. Or no, I like them this way. All right. I feel like I gotta go fix that one smudge I made, that one dimple. Handprint. But what I might do is finish this other piece, this other circle. Fix that and then let these dry before we start the orange and the reds. I think that's what I want to do, or do I want to just continue doing blues? I don't know. What a hard choice. Because I like the orangey biv look. I like the red and the oranges and the yellows as they complement the blues and the greens. But then I also like all blue. There's no such thing as a bad day with all blue, right? Oh, this is the strong circle, apparently. Strong quadrant. Going for some bold colors. My sister would be so pleased. Even still, I'm not sure these are bold enough for her. On this side, I mean. I have another sister who loves purple, and she loves it in every shade, from lilac to grape. If it's purple, she's on it. And she's, it's easy to paint things to please her because it's going to be purple. Okay. Let's just try to do a little fixie-do with whatever's in our brush here and just grab a little paint. I don't even know if that's the color I used before. Just gonna try to feather it a little bit. Well, I'm not feathering, I'm covering the whole dang thing. Alright, whatever. And there's a hair. As I often do, I change my mind as I go. I've decided to continue on my path of blue and green. I'm loving it. I'm loving how this looks, and I just want to keep exploring and using different colors in different thicknesses and different intensities. Yeah, I'm going to keep going with the green and the blue. Ooh. Might be a bit more than I wanted, but that's okay. The sea is like that, isn't it? Sometimes it is bright emerald like this, and other times it's almost neon green, depending on how the sun's hitting it. We were at the beach last week for vacation, and we were in the Gulf, and it's just absolutely beautiful. The water is gorgeous, but as we're standing there kind of bobbing around in the waves, a manatee just casually swims by us, probably 8 feet from us, if that. And of course, at first you just see a large mass swimming, a large dark mammal, like something or other in the water, and then it breaches and you see the whiskers, and and your heart goes back to pumping at a normal rate at that point. But you know, for a second you're like, just something I should be worried about. But so beautiful. I'm gonna need a lot for this space, boy. I got real ambitious with this size of this swirly-do. This quarter rainbow. No, I guess technically half rainbow, right? I will never not love blues and greens together. It's a magical combination. Analogous colors, of course, are always a beautiful combination, but see, now I can do this. I let it dry a few minutes and I came back. All right, I gotta stand again. Some people like to double load their brush, and I enjoy that. I have not, but I think mostly they're making flowers. And I'm, well, I love nature and botany and all of that. I have not yet found something that I'm excited about doing from a botanical standpoint. Watercoloring, I'm rambling, I'm sorry. Trying to paint and think at the same time, which is always a challenge. Because the left brain is trying to take over where the right brain's going, no, this is my space. And you probably know this, but both hemispheres cannot be active at the same time. So I'm either autopilot on my mouth, or I'm autopilot on my hands. Because if I'm trying to think about something to share with you, That's a memory or whatever that's left. I think. Oh, maybe I'm wrong about that. Anyway, if I get quiet for seconds because my one hemisphere is taking over going, no, my turn. Now I'm kind of purposefully adding or double dipping into colors just to, I was kind of doing it before too, but why do circles, why are they so pleasing to the eye? I don't know. More so than squares. I mean, I like squares. Maybe because they're just an infinite shape. I could just keep going round and round like a merry-go-round. Maybe they remind me of my merry-go-round. That could be. All right, let's go a bit more greeny green here. I'm gonna go kind of pale, I think, on this one because there's so much vividness in those. And this is one of those patterns that, first of all, you're never going to get the same pattern twice, no matter how much you might try. You're just not. And then, depending on your mood and the color palette, you're never going to get the, you're always going to get something a little different. And I like it for that reason. Okay, let's go kind of light on this one. Gotta be careful because I'm gonna put my hand in that if I'm not watching what I'm doing. Oh, just realized I'm off screen. Goofy girl. Think I'd learned by now. There. Very nice. Okay, let's go here. Let's darken that. Let's change that up a little bit. Nope. Okay, we like that color. Very muddy. I like it. Like a moody blue. Very moody blue. I'm going to borrow some of that. Add a little bit of this. And we're going to do this big guy. And if you don't have a compass, if you don't have one of these guys, you could get out a bowl or anything with a round edge, a cup, a saucer. Just use the edge of it. Draw yourself 4 boxes. Don't have to be squares. They don't have to be a particular size. And just use the edge of the bowl or the edge of the cup or the edge of the saucer. Whatever you've got. Dinner plate. It all works. And if all you got's Crayola crayons from your kids bringing their school supplies home from the end of the year, mix up some blues and greens. Add a little red, add a little yellow. Stick my advice there. I'm going to add a little yellow. Well, that's a pretty sage green, isn't it? Oh yeah, I like that color a lot. Very nice. Okay. I think I'm going to stop here for this time, for this session, and maybe I'll come back and do some line work later, but I think we're going to just call this one a day and call it done. And thanks for stopping by again. We'll see you again soon. Bye.